welcome back. My name is Michelle and I do 5-star book reviews. And today is Sunday and it's dreary. It's going to snow here in Pennsylvania and I'm so depressed about it. But I get to do this and this makes me happy because we are talking about Danielle Steel's newest book called Spy. And you know what? I think this is her 5th book this year. I'd have to go back and count. It's 4th or 5th, but I'm thinking 5th. And now I'm thinking 6th. No, I think it's 5th. Let's just stick with 5th. Okay, who writes that many books? Oh my God. But you know what? Out of all of the ones that I have read this year by her, and I've read every one of them, this is her best one. So if you have to pick a Danielle Steel book to read over the holidays, pick this one. And no, it has nothing to do with the holidays, but it is so good. And I feel like it's going back to her roots because it's historical fiction. And I don't know if you guys remember The Ring. And I wanted to look it up. I forgot to look it up what year that came out. But that was my very first historical fiction book, and I didn't even know what that meant back then. I just knew that I read it. It taught me stuff I didn't know about history, and I was like, wow, this is amazing. Well, that's how this book is, okay? Because it's historical fiction. It's World War II historical fiction. And I didn't know what to expect, except for I knew The Ring was amazing. But I was like, well, is it going to be good? I mean, this is kind of old school, but it was incredible. Never fear. Danielle Steel can still write historical fiction. So, as if we were worried, right? Up on your screen, 288 pages. I said historical fiction. You know, Amazon's like barely even mentioning that, but we know, right? We know historical fiction when we read it, and this one is it. So, up on your screen, give you the little Amazon blurb. A young woman is caught up in dangerous double life on behalf of her country during World War II in Danielle Steel's thrilling new novel. And I love this character so much. Her name was Alexandra Wickham. And the book starts off in the summer of 1939. So we know what's going on in the world in 1939, right? But she's reminiscing about 5 years before that when she was presented in court to George V and Queen Mary. And I'll post their pictures up there because I love doing that. But so we're taken back, right? And then not only are we taken back to that time period of women being presented in court and all of England well, we also now know that she is a debutante. She is somebody because you had to be somebody to be presented. Right away, what I love about Danielle Steel, and I will say this over and over again, is her first chapter sets you up with her characters so that you know in so few words. I mean, come on, it's 288 pages. And in the first chapter, we get a whole backstory of her main character. So she rarely has to go back because we already know it. And I love that because, you know, when you read a lot like I do, and it takes an author 3 chapters to tell a backstory, and you're like, oh my gosh, Danielle can say it in so few words, and you feel like you've known this character forever. It's not rushed. It's not like, oh, I'm wondering about her. No, she lays it out. So just a tidbit of the story I will give you is that, okay, so we know she's going to be a spy, hence the title, right? So we already know this, but leading up to her being a spy, her 2 brothers get killed in the war. And she's the only girl. So now we're down to 1 child in the family. And I think that the tension here, what Danielle was trying to give us, and it works so well, is that she's the last child. She does not have to do this. I mean, they really give a pass on families that have lost other members. Like if especially if you're the last child in the family, England is giving you a pass. They set her up and they're like, look, you don't have to do this. You could make your parents childless by doing this. So think about it. But she thinks about it for like 2 seconds because her brothers were killed in the war and she feels like she has to do something. And you know what? I think everyone during World War II at that time period, like in the very, especially like 1939 on, everybody contributed to the war. I don't think there were people who did not contribute to the war in some fashion. So anyway, that's how Danielle sets it up. We go on this ride, and I have to tell you, like 3/4, because you're going to get to, like me, okay, you're going to get to like 3/4 of the way done with the book, and it seems like the story's just wrapped up. And I'm like, that's interesting. And since I know her better, I know better than to stop reading because I keep reading because I know she's got a plan, and she does. So never worry about like that you're reading a quarter of the book and it's pointless. It is not pointless. She wraps this story up so amazing. And when I finished it, I thought to myself, you know what? I just read another perfect Danielle Steele book because you know going in, let me slow down. You know going into her books what you're going to get. You're going to get the perfect story. Somehow she is going to wrap it up that when you finish the book, you're like, oh, oh, can I read another one? Can she come out with another one tomorrow? That's how you want to finish a book, right? I mean, sometimes you finish a book and you're like, oh, I wish that story could go on forever. With her books, I'm more like, oh, I want to pick up another Danielle Steele book now. And I don't even, I was going to look to see when her next book is coming out. Maybe I'll flash it up on the screen when I'm editing it to see if I find it. But this is it for right now. I don't know when the next one's coming out. But go read this book over the holidays. You will be happy you did. You can read it on weekend, okay, please. Or if you have some days over the holidays and you just want to breeze through this book, do it. If you're a fan of hers, you will love it. If you have never read one of hers, this is a good one to start. Thank you for watching, everyone. IndieBound, if you want to go buy the hardback you won't get the paperback. She does come out with paperbacks, though. If you wait, you can get her paperback. Some books don't anymore, but she does. But hardback, go to your local bookstore, support your local bookstore. If you want it on your Kindle and you want to start reading today or you want to listen to it, put the Amazon down there. So everybody, have an amazing Sunday. Thank you so much for watching. And until my next